It's all yours.
Thank you. PPT hakirli, but I'll take it up. Hi, good afternoon. Namaskara. Wish you all a very, very happy Pongal Shankranti. And wonderful to be here with all of you. Thanks to Dr. Ashwath Narayan, Prashant, for inviting me here. I always get very excited speaking to youngsters like you, and it's wonderful to see all of you coming here on a holiday, you know, sitting through the afternoon. One thing I'll promise you, I won't put you to sleep. Okay? And I'm going to do that by a very simple method. Okay? If you see anybody sitting either right of you or left of you going to sleep, you got to nudge them, right? And it'll ensure that you stay awake and your neighbors stay awake. Great. So what I want to do over the next 40-45 minutes is to do a combination of things, share my own journey, understand a bit more. We'll keep it very interactive. That's one way to ensure that you don't fall asleep and I don't fall asleep. Right? And I will call along a few of my very interesting colleagues to come onto the stage as well to share some of their stories. But let's keep it as interactive as possible, right? If you have a question, sometime in the, I'll maybe every 20 minutes I will take some break out to say, hey, let's take some questions. But before that, before I even jump in, right? Let me ask a few, it's not that you will ask me questions, I'll also ask you questions. So I want to ask you a couple of questions to the audience, and you can just shout it out, maybe I'll repeat it if I hear it well. Simple question, okay? I want at least 3 people to address it. Why are you here? What made you come to today's session? Yeah, I see one hand going up there.
I will become the world's #1 best entrepreneur.
Wow, you will become the world's #1 best entrepreneur. Fantastic. You're already halfway there, right? Thinking about itself means that you will get there. Great. Anybody else? Yeah? You want to become a world entrepreneur as well. You are already influencing us. She's sitting right next to you. But wonderful. Great. Who else? Somebody tell me that, yeah, my friend forced me to come. I didn't want to come, but one of my friends was coming here, I came. How many of you have that answer? I see a few hands going up. Okay. So don't worry. I'm sure at the end of today, whoever put up your hand saying, my friend forced me to come, you'll probably end up thanking your friend, because you'll realize that, listen, if I had not attended today's session, whatever that is, I wouldn't have thought about entrepreneurship. I wouldn't have thought that people in the audience will be saying, I want to become the world's #1 best entrepreneur, and maybe that will inspire you. So the whole idea, as I see this, and I think it's a fantastic initiative, is how do you spur entrepreneurial thinking, and how do you get people like you to start thinking about entrepreneurship? And I will give 2 numbers that I want you to tell me what those numbers are. Okay. The first number is, I'm sure you all know the population of India, right? What is the population of India? Roughly 1.25 billion, 1.3 billion, whatever, 130 crores, right? I'll give you another number. The number is 12 crores. Okay? 120 million equals 12 crores. What do you think that number is? Guesses? Youth what? Youth of India is much more than that. Right? I'm sure you would have heard statistics saying by 2025, 60% of India will be under 35 or whatever, right? There are many statistics out there. I want a more specific answer. 120 crores. Is the population of India, or 130 crores, 12 crores, what is that number? Sorry? 12 crores, 120 million. Okay, let me give you the answer. And that is the answer that keeps me awake at night. Every month from this year, for the next 10 years, every month 10 lakh youth like you will enter the workforce looking for a job. If you take the next 12 months, that is 120 million. 12 crore youth like you will enter the workforce looking for a job. Right? That's 10% of India. who are coming out of colleges and saying, I'm now ready for the job, I have my resume ready, where will I find my job? Okay? 10 lakh people per month. You're adding one country's population every month just to the workforce. Many of the European countries are that small, right? So let me ask you another question. All of us want jobs, right? I want monthly salary to come to my account at the end of every year. I want to go back to my boss and say, I have worked very hard, I need my 10% or 20% increment, I want a better job. Can you guess, if you add all of the, so which are the careers that give you organized jobs? These are government, public sector units or private companies, right? If you add all the number of people who work in either government or public sector companies or private companies, right, where you get a salary check every month, can you guess the number of people who are employed in such jobs? India is a land of, again, 120, 130, 125 crores. I'm sure as we're speaking, the number is increasing, right? What is the total number of people employed who get a monthly check of salary into their account every month? Take a guess. Not that bad. Yeah, if you take the total number, it's still not that bad. Any guess? How many lakhs of people? How many million people? How many crores of people? Okay, the number is around 47 million, roughly 4.7 to 5 crore people. So if you add up everybody who gets a salary, monthly basis, as I said, is about 47 million, right? 4.5 crores. That roughly constitutes 7% of the workforce. So which means, let's assume these 120 million people who are all coming out, all want a salary. Let's assume that, India is going to grow at 8%, at 10%, that 47 million will grow by another 20 million, right? Another 2 crore people will get jobs. Out of the 12 crore, if 2 crore people get jobs, how many are left? 10 crores? What happens to the 10 crores? Where will they find jobs? Where will they find careers? Right? If you're going from one job interview to another job interview to be told that, no, you are not good, there's somebody better, there's already the world's best person here, I don't want to give you a job, how do you feel? Frustrated? Angry? Saying, I've done all this, I've stood first in my BCom, I came first class, my parents told me, study well, study hard, right? You will get a job someday. That's not happening for 10 crore people, right? And that is a huge worry, because you have 10 crore talented, hugely talented youth like you, who are looking for a job, not finding a job. Why? Because there are no jobs of the type you want. Yeah, you want to do data entry work for 3 months, you want to do digging some borewell, you want to lay a pipe for 2 months a year, 3 months a year, you'll find those jobs. But all of us aspire for careers, right? So one of the things I've done, I'll see if the video plays, or we do this in rural India. I go and ask youth like you, in people who are 4th standard dropout, 5th standard dropout, I just go and ask them, what do you want to be? What do you think the responses will be? This is in the remotest of villages. When I go and ask 16-year-old, 20-year-old youth who have not been to school, or some of them have been to school, dropped out of school, what do you want to be? I would expect sometimes, naively earlier I was expecting that they will say, oh, my dad is an agricultural laborer. I want to be an agricultural laborer, but I need some 1,000 rupees more a month. Or Norega is giving me Manrega. You all heard of the Rural National Employment Guarantee Scheme. That is giving me some money. My father is earning so much, I want to earn so much. Do you expect people are saying that? You know what people say? Kids in the remotest parts, one of the things that shocked me when one kid told me was, I said, what do you want to be? He said, he was 4th standard dropout. He said, I want to be an auditor. I said, what? He said, yeah, I want to be an auditor. I said, do you know what an auditor means? How did you hear about it? He said, no, I was going in a bus from Raichur to somewhere, and I was sitting next to a guy who was going to audit a bank, and I started talking to him and asked him, what do you do? He said, I'm an auditor. He explained what he does, and I really liked it. I want to be an auditor, right? So it doesn't matter. So I've heard police inspector, teacher, IT professional, software engineer. One of the things I heard recently was somebody said, I want to be e-commerce. I said, wow, where did you hear this word? No, my newspaper said e-commerce people are getting a lot of money. I want to be e-commerce only, I said. So you can imagine the aspirations, right? So the issue is, you have high aspirations, you have 10 crore youth who have a lot of energy, who have a lot of talent coming in and saying, I want to be something, but there are no jobs. So what's the solution? You have to create jobs. Who are the ones who create jobs? Entrepreneurs, right? My understanding of this problem is that if we, out of the 10 crore people, if 2 crore or 3 crore people do not become entrepreneurs, and if each of them have to create 5 jobs each, then you're creating 10 crore jobs, right? So the need of the hour for the next 10 years and maybe many, many years after that is at least 20 to 30 million entrepreneurs have to come out of the system. Where will they come out from? Where will they come out from? At least where will the first 500 come out from, or 800 come out from? This room, this hall, right? If each of you were to go out there and say, listen, I want to be an entrepreneur, I will create something and I will create 10 jobs each. My expectations from each of you is not 10. I want each of you to create 1,000 jobs in your lifetime. Can you provide jobs to 1,000 people? If you have 1,000 people here, each of you providing jobs for 1,000 people, 1 million opportunities are done. As simple as that, right? So my submission to you is, of course, entrepreneurship is rewarding. It's got its own set of adrenaline. You feel that I'm doing something, all that is there. I also argue that the country has no choice if each of you doesn't become an entrepreneur. You have no choice. It's a moral obligation, right? If people like us stand in a queue with a resume saying, I want a job, right? When I say you, imagine, I'm sure you all know how many kids go to school. Prashant runs a wonderful NGO called Sikshana, which is helping kids learn better in school, right? I'm sure you all heard statistics where only 20% of kids in school in 7th grade, I think, know how to do 3rd grade math, right? And a much lower number who know English, so on and so forth, right? My point is, the educated India, the privileged India, you represent maybe less than 0.1% of the privileged India. And if we guys don't become entrepreneurs, who else will? So, one of the points I want you to think about is this number every day and start saying, what will I do to create 1,000 jobs? How can I start hiring somebody, right? And it's possible. I've seen it's possible. From my own experience, at some point of time, I've somehow crossed the last 10 years, I've crossed the 1,000 mark. Meritrack at its peak hired about 750 people. And we just crossed the 250 mark in Head Held High. So to an extent, I had said some years ago that I will cross 1,000 jobs. After 14 years, I managed to do that, right? But it's not enough. We need to do much more. When I started off Meritrack, I was almost like you, with, of course, much more hair. Right? One of the lessons I learned is don't start a company and get married at the same time. It was a double whammy, right? Which is what happened. I started off Meritrack in 2000, end of 2001, 2002 is when I met Rupa, my wife, got married in 2002, and boom, Though I must say that today, it was very interesting. When I got married, it was a classic arranged marriage. And I had not told Rupa about all the, I keep telling her that between my engagement and the wedding, the company went down, right? By the time I got married, we had 0 revenues, 10 of us in the company, no money, our investor had gone bust. So the first question I asked Rupa soon after marriage is, how much money do you have in your bank account? She said some 25,000 rupees. I said, great, you can pay this month's rent and the next month's as well, because we were paying some 5,000 rupee rent. Right? So having somebody support you on your entrepreneurial journey is extremely critical, so hair loss is okay. Right? But What I'm arriving at is I've seen it in my own journey. We started off a company, absolutely knew nothing about assessments, training, recruitment. We just started because we felt like it. In those days in 2000, were you all born in 2000? Okay, good. At least gives me some solace, right, that we're not that old. Everybody I knew in Bangalore was starting a company. I used to work in Japan. I used to work for a company called BFL Software, and I used to sell software to the Japanese. And without knowing a word of Japanese, man, I was a total misfit. I was a teetotaler, didn't smoke, didn't eat meat. So people said, what the hell are you doing in Japan? Right? And didn't know a word of Japanese. I was trying to sell software to the Japanese. And I came back to India in 2000 for a client visit, and then met everybody I knew. My classmates, I studied in MES College, and I did my schooling at St. Joseph's. All my friends, I had my engineering from NIE. Everybody I knew was either writing a business plan or talking to VCs or starting a company. And the excitement was so palpable that I said, if I don't start a company now, I'll never start. So we were trying to look around to do something, and we got started. In fact, I think the first 3 years we made so many mistakes that any entrepreneur could make. One of the world's, I think, top 3, top 5 business schools called INSEAD, which is in France and Singapore, they wrote a case study on us. And the case study was what not to do as an entrepreneur. Right? And I used to go to Singapore to teach that class of all the things, of the mistakes I made as an entrepreneur and how to avoid it. Right? So I went through all that. So I'm saying, hey, if, an average Chamarajpete guy like me can do it, all of you can do much better. Right? So the other point I want to make is, people say, oh, but I don't have idea, I don't have the talent, I don't think I have the thinking capacity, all that stuff, and I all say that's all bunkum. There is immense power residing in each of you, right? And I will show an example. About 7 years ago, we started an experiment. My friends who were my partners came and told me, listen, let's transform rural India. I said, great, how do we do it? He said, all the BPO work is happening in Bangalore, let's take it to the villages. Let's start doing BPO in the villages, and we can give work to people there. I said, fantastic idea, where are the people? Because I was doing assessments for the BPO industry here, and I was seeing how difficult it is to get graduates to do BPO work because English, communication skills, personality, confidence, all of that was an issue. Said, we'll try. What did we try? We said, let's try an experiment at the extreme. We said, what if we took the most unemployable person you can find on the face of this earth? Okay, the most unemployable. How do you define that most unemployable person? 18 years of age, never been to school. Forget dropping out of school, never entered a school, never stepped inside a classroom. Has no skills, works as a cowherd, doing daily, buffalo grazing, plucking groundnuts, so on and so forth. They said, obviously will not even read, write Kannada. Forget English. Lives in a remote village. And we defined that remote village as somebody who's probably never even traveled on a train. Okay, forget even, maybe have seen a bus, never have got onto a bus. And we said, this person, what if we took this person and transform him or her to be an English-speaking, computer-literate knowledge professional? A large part of me laughed at the story. I said, boss, what are you smoking? I met these guys in the afternoon. I said, guys, have you been telling me that you've been drinking all through the night and for breakfast, and you come to have a conversation with me? But one part of me said, what if it's possible? What if miracles happen? So one part of me said, "Theek hai, let's do this experiment. If we fail, no big deal. But if we succeed, we would have found a new way of transforming people." So I went around to villages. We went to Raichur, villages around Raichur, Gadag, Koppal, Hassan, Chikmagalur, everywhere. And we went to the villages and said, who are the people who meet this criteria? How many people do you think in India meet this definition? Take a guess. 18 to 25-year-olds, people who have never been to school, work as daily wage laborers, live in the villages, have not got exposure even to their local language. Rough guess, how many people are there in the country? I don't think it's that bad. Right? Our estimate is about 8 to 10 crore. There are 8 to 10 crore youth who meet this criteria. Right? And if you extend that zero education to about 4th, 5th grade, it will be around that number. So we found lots of people. But a lot of them laughed at us, saying, hey, this is a scheme. You'll take us to Bangalore, you'll put us to labor, you'll sell us somewhere, you'll make money. We've seen enough of this. Get out of our villages. But 8 kids and their parents believed in us. And one of them was a kid called Meghraj. Okay? Meghraj, classic thing, comes from a village called Gule. Gule is near Koppal. Classic story, never been to school, works as a cowherd, didn't, the family was all trying to earn a livelihood by labor. I think together they used to pull in some 4,000-5,000 rupees a month and earn that amount of money. If I just play the video of Meghraj on day 1, let's see if it plays. If you just play the next video, please. Let me just get, yeah, you can just click. No, you can just play the presentation itself. It's there.
What's in there? Okay.
It's there. Just give me a second. Let's see, just click the next slide. I just want you to show your video of Meghraj on day 1, just to give you a sense. If the PPT comes up, yeah, just click and see if Meghraj plays. Click on the video. Yeah. This is Meghraj on day 1. Can I have audio, please? You just need to increase it. But you get a picture, right? This is Meghraj petrified on day 1. We are filming him. He has never seen a video camera in his life, right? We put him to Bangalore, scared. But he said, I want to be something in my life, right? So Meghraj, Chandana, Ramesh, all of them got in. And we got them into, are you able to hear me? Okay, is this better now? Okay. So Meghraj and 7 others came in. We put them on a house in Bangalore, in KR Puram, hired a BPO trainer, said, bye, now you got to teach these guys English. 1 year is the time. Lunchtime, the BPO trainer vanishes. Nowhere to be seen. We're trying to call him, does not respond. Then finally, Rajesh, my partner, went to his house. He gave us a earful. He says, are you guys mad? I can't train graduates in Bangalore. You expect me to train people like them? You are setting me up for failure. What the hell do you think you guys are doing? And he said, I'm not going to come anywhere close to your house. Right? So forget it. So we were at that dilemma. What do? We've got all these 8 kids. Right? So Rajesh and a couple of others said, let's try. It's not that difficult. We'll just make them work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we'll teach them something. And that happened. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, we created a curriculum on the fly. Rajesh and my partners actually, yeah, that's okay. Rajesh and my partners quite literally lived with these 8 kids for 7 months. 16 hours a day. Even when they slept in the night, we used to keep the BBC radio on. Even if you wake up in the night for a cup of water or to go to the toilet, you should listen to English. It was as immersive as that. And the miracles started happening. At the end of 7 months, when I met, so I was on a fair amount of travel, I used to come in and go, but when I met these guys for the first time, the world stopped for me. And I'll tell you why. Let me call in Meghraj to share his story. Meghraj? You can play this picture.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Meghraj Mantri. I came from remote village Gule, which is in Koppal district, Karnataka. I had never been to school in my village. I used to do farming work and grazing buffalo in the village. And doing labor work in other farm, earning 10 to 15 rupees per day to fulfill daily needs of our family. The incident took me in my village, friends are going to school and they are learning. They know about knowledge, they know about education, what is the value of. I thought of my life is wasted. I burn nothing. Then I thought of, why can't I study? Why can't I go for school? It come to me at the same moment, this Head-Held Eye organization and Madan sir came to my village. They explained about this organization. I was very inspired that to do something which is not possible to make it possible. Then I signed up this program. I started learning alphabets A to Z in a day. It was a challenging for me that even I don't know Kannada, it's a British language, English. Then I took a challenge. Let me study. Why can't I study and I can learn English, computer skills, confidence level, personality development. Within 8 months, I was perfect in English, reading, writing, and I started work in a BPO company in a village as a team leader. Then after that, I started Then I realized the word that people expect that certificate about your zero educated story is okay. Then I thought of why can't I study 10th? Because they given me knowledge, they given me skills, why can't I study 10th? Then I applied for the 10th. On last year, I passed, then now I'm pursuing second PUC. So there is no zero level of in my lifetime. So I'm very proud of my company that they given me skills, they made me to stand here, they given me opportunity everywhere. I'm here to skill up, I'm here to improve my rural area. My dream is to create a jobs in rural area, to providing healthcare, agriculture, education, eye care. Thank you so much, everyone.
Every time I meet Meghraj, Meghraj works with us, and every time I listen to his story, I guess good